Polk County Fire Rescue Public Education Department offers Polk residents training and classes on issues such as fire safety, severe weather awareness, disaster preparedness, and emergency 911. Coming up, we'll talk about a series of classes available to residents and visitors of Polk County on Polk Place. Make sure you stick around. Welcome to Polk Place. I'm your host, Brian Lacey, and joining me in studio is Rosa Lalonde. She is the Director of Public Education for Polk County Fire Rescue and a veteran of Polk Place. Been on here how many times?
More than one.
Yeah. And I think that's one more than Chris. Chris John Keir, he is the Public Information Officer for Polk County Fire Rescue. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. How's it going?
Doing great. Chris, I want to talk to you first, since you have that new employee smell, the newest Public Information Officer for Polk County Fire Rescue. Talk to me a little bit about your background.
So I worked for about 9 to 10 years in Division I college athletics, basically doing the same media relations, public information stuff, but for athletes. But if you really think about it, it's kind of the same because a lot of our firefighters and EMS personnel are athletes. I mean, I got the chance to go out with them, and every once in a while they let me play around with their toys and stuff like that. And you really have to be in shape, you know. And some of the egos are the same too. So, you know, it kind of prepared me for this role that I have now. I mean, there's a couple of different things. I had to learn a lot about the EMS and fire aspect of everything and the terminology and all that. But there's a lot of similarities.
For those that don't understand the terminology, Public Information Officer, what exactly is it that you do?
So, in short, basically one of the faces for the department when it comes to the media, handling the news, any kind of news interviews or anything like that. A lot of times you'll see me handling those interviews and doing the talking on behalf of the division or the agency itself. And then also plays into social media nowadays. I handle all the social media aspects as well.
Now, Rosa, you are a veteran of public service throughout the county, and when it comes to public education, I want you to talk to me a little bit about your experience with the county, where all you've worked, and then talk to me a little bit from the public education side of Polk County Fire Rescue. What exactly is that?
Well, 27 years ago, I started on an ambulance, working EMS, loved every second of it. Had a young son who became a teenager. Mama needed to be home a little bit more. Yeah. And got the opportunity to go to the sheriff's office and do education for them, which was a great learning experience. A lot of good things come out of that, a lot of good opportunities to work with the public. At that time, there was a change here, and Fire Rescue invited me to come back and do education for not only them, but at that time, emergency management too. So 27 years total, most of it's been either on an ambulance or educating people not to have to call for an ambulance, hopefully.
Well, we understand from Chris's side of the house, he deals with media. But in your side of the house, you deal a little bit more up close and personal with the residents and visitors of Polk County. What exactly is public education?
We educate the public. Very simply about 911 and what they call life safety matters. And any group, business group, neighborhood group, school group, of course, go out and talk to them about various subjects and let them know a little bit about fire rescue. Hopefully they never have to call 911 and meet us on a scene, so they'll get a chance to learn a little bit more about fire rescue on a good day, not a bad day.
One of the things that you mentioned, you're available to speak to these groups on various topics. If somebody's interested in having you or any member of the team come out, how do they go about doing as such?
Easiest thing is to go online. There's a form to fill out. There's topics to choose from. Give us a couple of free dates that the facility is available for them, and then we coordinate with them on available dates and come out and speak for free.
And one thing that I wanted to mention, you are part of a team. You're leading some folks. Talk to me about who all's in your office.
Well, we have a full-time educator, Kathy Drainville. Then we have another retiree part-time educator, Dorothy Smith. Dorothy's been with public safety since She probably doesn't want me to tell you, but the 70s. And Kathy actually comes to us from Elder Services, so she has a lot of experience. She works a lot with our CERT teams, our community emergency response teams. So we have a good team set up, and then we have some volunteers that also assist us.
Well, one of the things that we're here to talk about today, Polk County Fire Rescue is offering various classes throughout the quarter. Let's talk about the classes that are being offered.
Well, and it's a safety series. We're repeating it every quarter this year. So for the first 3 months, the second 3 months, you can attend one or all. The first class falls that it's on Stop the Bleed. And Stop the Bleed is kind of a new initiative. Really started getting some momentum after Sandy Hook. Unfortunately, the deaths in Sandy Hook were from an uncontrolled bleeding. It's not the first responders that are there to assist because of the time delay with responses and scene security. It's that immediate responder that's that person sitting right beside you. So it talks about how to control bleeding, stop the bleeding. It talks about tourniquets and kind of dispels some of the old 1970s myths that we had about tourniquets. Another class is fire extinguisher training. We always tell you that the worst time to learn to use a fire extinguisher is during fire because the print's really small. So a good time to do it, obviously, is a controlled atmosphere, in a learning atmosphere. You get the opportunity with a live controlled fire, of course, to actually use a fire extinguisher. As many times we ask people, have you ever used a fire extinguisher? And of course they have not. We don't want them to have to, but if they need to, we want them to have the education. The last class in the series is what we call Check, Call, Compress. It's a hands-only, not a certificate class, but it's hands-only CPR. The good news is you don't kiss any dummies during this class. People like that idea. So it's hands-only, it's how to recognize sudden cardiac arrest, kind of a little bit of the what is sudden cardiac arrest, and then how to handle it. Also AEDs. And we actually have an AED trainers. You get to use it, apply it to the mannequin, the dummy, and have that experience. Again, the worst time first time to see an AED is during an emergency. This gives them a chance to kind of get the feel of it ahead of time.
From the class standpoints, where are they teaching the classes and what time will the classes be going on? And then how can folks find out the actual dates of the classes?
We teach it at Polk County Fire Rescue Training Headquarters, which is located at 2470 Clower Lane. Also gives you an opportunity kind of to see some of our facility and some of our training, and maybe meet even a crew if they're available across the street. We start them at 6 o'clock. They go from 1.5 to 2.5 hours, depending on which class you're in. And you can sign up on our website or watch our social media.
One thing that Rosa had mentioned is social media. And from your side of the house, you've been in this gig for a while. Talk about the importance of social media and how that it allows us to reach our end result customers in practically an instant.
Right. So as you said, it's instantaneous, and that's what today is about. And it helps if you follow our page, which is facebook.com/Polk Fire, or even on Twitter, which is @PolkFire. We're always putting out information, whether it's from hazardous driving conditions that may be apparent, or whether it's Rosa's classes that she's offering over there. We're always putting out information, and it helps you to stay abreast of everything that's going on within PCFR itself. So the importance of our social media is to really be able to get out there, and it provides another avenue of information.
And what social medias do we have available for the residents of the county?
So we have Facebook and Twitter as of now, and we're going to be working on hopefully an Instagram.
All right. Well, listen, Chris, Rosa, I really appreciate you guys coming in and talking to me Fire Rescue, and classes coming up. And the couch is yours anytime you guys want to promote anything you got going on.
Glad
Awesome.
to do it.
Yep. Thank you.
Polk County Fire Rescue is offering free public safety classes to the residents and visitors of Polk County. Classes are held quarterly at the Polk County Fire Rescue Headquarters office at 2470 Clower Lane in Bartow from 6 to about 8:30 p.m. Now, through their training, the education officers help all ages and demographics recognize fire hazards and necessary safety precautions needed to minimize injury and property damage. For more information on the classes offered and dates available, make sure you check them out and register on the web at www.polk-county.net/fire-rescue www.polk.org/safety-education or give them a call at 863-519-3473.